In tonight's 360 Perspective, the debate on college athletes and whether they should be able to make money. California's Fair Pay to Play Act just signed into law by Governor Gavin Newsom. Colorado lawmakers promising a similar bill next session. Right now, the NCAA bans student athletes from making money while playing college sports. Governor Newsom tweeted that colleges make billions of dollars from student athletes, but they block them from earning a single dollar. He says that is a bankrupt model, and his act makes California the first state to allow student athletes to profit off their name, image, and likeness. The California law would still forbid colleges from paying athletes, but they would be allowed to sign individual endorsement deals. They'll also be allowed to hire licensed agents to represent them. And it prevents them from signing conflicting deals. For instance, a player can't wear Nike if their team's sponsored by Adidas. The bill passed California's legislature unanimously. We spoke with some of the Denver Nuggets while they're in the Springs for training camp about their thoughts on the new California law.
Understand it to the fullest, mother having a single job with 4 boys, and I had to fight through it in 3 years in college. I had nothing given to me, so I had to work for everything I had. So for this to happen, I think it's great for the guys that's coming behind us. It's a great movement.
As long as players aren't getting taken advantage of, man. These kids, they put a lot out there and they get nothing in return. So hopefully, that changes some things.
The NCAA, the Pac-12 Conference, and several California schools have all expressed their opposition to the bill. In a statement, the NCAA agrees changes are needed to continue to support student athletes, but it needs to happen on a national level through the NCAA rulemaking process, saying this law creates confusion and they're considering their next steps in California. The NCAA goes on to say as more states consider their own specific legislation related to this topic, it's clear that a patchwork of different laws from different states will make unattainable the goal of providing a fair and level playing field for 1,100 campuses and nearly 500,000 student athletes nationwide. Now, those in favor of the Pay to Play Act say the NCAA is hypocritical. They're a tax-exempt nonprofit that's been profiting off the student athletes for years. In the most recent numbers from the IRS, the LA Times found the NCAA earned $1 billion in revenue, with assets exceeding $400 million, a payroll of more than $70 million, with the president making $2.5 million of that. Mark Emmert. Not to mention the schools make billions. The coaches also get paid millions.
And this is a classic example where a non-governmental, unaccountable body is acting like a cartel and preventing these athletes from being able to do what everyone else in the sport is doing, namely making money off of their hard work.
Republican State Senator Owen Hill of Colorado Springs says they wanted to work on a bill last legislative session, but it just didn't work out. He and a Democratic State Senator, Jeff Bridges, they're ready to introduce this in 2020 with bipartisan support. Lawmakers in Washington State, Florida, New York, North Carolina, South Carolina, and more also looking to create similar laws.
And sometimes we think just about the big names and the big sports, but the reality is a lot of people who these aren't big names, they're swimmers, they're track athletes, whatever. They're having to leave their sport just to make ends meet. And we're creating a way where they can make ends meet and pursue their sport at the same time.
We reached out to the Mountain West Conference here in town for their thoughts. We haven't heard back yet, but in a Denver Post op-ed in 2017, they said athletes are students, not employees. The NCAA appointed a panel in May, by the way, to study the name, image, and likeness issue. That final report's supposed to be heard during a board meeting later this month in Atlanta. The California law set to take effect in 2023. What are your thoughts on this issue? Should athletes make money while they're playing college sports? Sound off on our Facebook pages, Elizabeth Watts News and KOAA5. And if you have an idea for a future 360 Perspective, email 360@koaa.com.